There are moments when we feel we are not enough, when we carry the weight of the world alone. Yet even in our fragility, there is a divine spark that watches over us, loves us, and calls us to awaken the value that resides within. A silent light reminds us, to love yourself is also to honor the presence of God within you. What if I told you that this spark of love can transform every wound, every doubt, every insecurity, that there is a path where self-love and faith meet, bringing profound healing to the heart. Today, we will walk together along this path of light, revealing the power God has already placed within you. Allow yourself to take a deep breath and feel this moment as a silent embrace from life. We are here to talk about something essential. Self-love united with spirituality. A force that heals, reconnects the soul with itself and with God. It's not always easy to see this light within us. Often, routines, expectations, and past wounds make us forget who we truly are. But know that every step of your journey, every tear shed, every moment of doubt had a purpose. God created us with an infinite capacity to love, not only others, but also ourselves. And learning to love yourself is recognizing this gift. When we feel lost, thinking we are small before the world, it is in that very moment that faith can sustain us. Not as a distant promise, but as a silent presence that accompanies us, guides us, and teaches us to see our own essence. Spirituality is not just about praying or seeking signs. It is about feeling life deeply, embracing every part of yourself with tenderness, and allowing God's love to transform you. Self-love is not selfishness, nor pride. It is the awareness that we are valuable, that we deserve care and attention, and that every act of kindness toward ourselves is also an act of faith. When we allow ourselves to look inward without judgment, we discover that our soul is a sacred temple, inhabited by the divine presence. And it is this very connection that leads us to a fuller, calmer, and more authentic life. Today, we will explore together this transformative union between self-love and spirituality. We will feel that it is possible to heal old wounds, that every scar carries a lesson, and that through faith, we can recognize ourselves as whole beings. There is no rush, no requirement, only a journey of discovery, where you are invited to embrace your own essence with love, lightness, and gratitude. We all carry marks, invisible to the eye, but deep within the heart. There are wounds formed in childhood, rejections that left scars, disappointments that taught us to close ourselves off from the world. And even when we smile, sometimes we feel an emptiness, a loneliness that seems to whisper that we are not enough. How many times have you looked in the mirror and not recognized yourself? How many times have you compared yourself to others, forgetting that your journey is unique and sacred? Human pain is silent, but intense. It is like a shadow that stretches across moments of joy and hope. Feeling vulnerable is part of the human experience, and vulnerability is also an invitation to healing. It's easy to get lost in self-criticism, in pressure, in feelings of failure. But even in the darkest moments, there is an invisible force that sustains us. It is God watching, waiting for us to allow ourselves to realize that we are worthy of love, that every tear shed is a step toward reconnecting with our essence. Pain teaches us, even in subtle ways, to recognize our inner strength. It is through pain that we begin to question limiting beliefs, that we feel the need to care for ourselves, respect ourselves, and embrace ourselves. When we look at our own humanity with compassion, we discover that every difficulty is also an invitation to grow, transform, and be reborn. Many times, the world tells us we must be perfect, that we cannot fail, that we cannot feel. But God shows us, silently, that perfection is not required to be loved. We are enough exactly as we are. Every imperfection, every mistake, every scar is part of a story that deserves to be honored. And it is in this space of acceptance that we begin to feel that self-love is not just a desire, but a spiritual necessity. Looking inward with tenderness and care is also recognizing the presence of God within us, a reminder that every soul is precious, unique, and worthy of love. When we view our pain through the light of spirituality, everything changes. Every wound becomes a lesson, every disappointment an opportunity for growth. God teaches us that we are not alone, that even in the quietest moments, He walks beside us, offering comfort and strength. Faith is like a candle burning in the dark. Its light doesn't chase away the night, but it allows us to walk safely. It is the awareness that something greater is sustaining us, something that loves us deeply and desires to see us flourish. By integrating self-love with spirituality, we understand that caring for ourselves is also honoring the divine creation, recognizing the beauty God placed in every detail of our being. Every prayer, every moment of silence, every conscious breath brings us closer to our essence. God invites us to embrace not only what is easy and comfortable, but also what challenges us. Pain, when seen spiritually, becomes a silent teacher, showing us where we need more compassion, more patience, more surrender. And it is in this space of surrender that transformation begins. By accepting that we are loved by the Creator, even with our imperfections, we feel the freedom to love ourselves as well. Faith does not distance us from reality. It allows us to face it with courage, hope, and serenity. Every moment of introspection, every act of self-care, is a way to connect with the divine and allow our inner light to expand. Thus, understanding pain through spirituality is discovering that nothing is in vain, that every challenge carries a lesson, every difficulty has a purpose, and that God constantly guides us so that we may find balance, peace, and love within ourselves. Healing begins with small acts of self, a gentle glance in the mirror, a thought of gratitude for being alive, a conscious pause to breathe and feel God's presence in every moment. It is in this daily care that the heart begins to restore itself, that wounds become soft memories rather than unbearable burdens. The path of healing also involves accepting our emotions without judgment. Anger, sadness, fear, all are valid and part of the process. God invites us to feel them fully, to embrace them, and then release them with trust, knowing we don't have to carry alone what is too heavy. Prayer is a powerful tool on this journey. It doesn't need to be long or elaborate. Simply speak to God as you would to a dear friend, opening your heart, sharing your pains, doubts, and hopes. And in doing so, we feel a gradual lightness, a sense that something greater sustains and guides us. Practicing gratitude is also essential. By recognizing the small blessings of the day, we begin to see that life, even with its challenges, is generous. Every act of self-care, every moment of introspection, is a step toward reconnecting with faith and the inner light. Healing is not immediate, but it is constant. Every conscious breath, every positive thought, every silent prayer is a seed planted in the soul. And these seeds grow, bloom, and remind us daily that God loves us, that we are worthy of care, and that transformation is always possible when we allow ourselves to walk this path of light. There comes a moment when faith, once faint, grows stronger. It renews itself like the sun rising after a dark night, illuminating every corner of the heart. We feel the divine presence tangibly and realize that we are part of something greater, protected and guided by infinite love. In that moment, hope ceases to be just an idea and becomes a living experience. Every difficulty overcome, every act of self-love practiced, contributes to this renewal. God shows us that life is a cycle of lessons and that faith allows us to walk with courage and serenity, even amid uncertainty. Renewing faith is also recognizing our own strength. When we look at ourselves with tenderness and acceptance, we see that we are capable of rising, starting anew, and loving again. God teaches us that true strength is not the absence of pain, but the ability to continue, keeping our hearts open and receptive to divine love. And so, faith becomes a constant companion, a presence that does not judge, does not demand, but simply sustains and embraces. The renewal of faith reminds us that every act of self-love is also an act of spirituality, a reflection of the divine care that surrounds us in every moment. With restored faith, the way we see life transforms. Wounds do not completely disappear, but they no longer hurt in the same way. They become memories that teach and strengthen us. The heart becomes calmer, contemplative, and filled with gratitude. Now, we see our own essence with clarity. Every challenge faced, every moment of sadness or fear, was a step toward reconnecting with ourselves and with God. Self-love manifests as respect, care, understanding, and patience toward oneself. It is not arrogance. It is the awareness of the dignity of one's own soul. Life reveals itself in softer, brighter colors. Small acts of kindness, moments of silence, spontaneous laughter, and attentive gazes become sacred. We realize that God's presence has always been there, sustaining, guiding, and reminding us that we are loved exactly as we are. This new perspective is contemplative, serene, full of recognition and gratitude. It is the ability to value each moment, each lesson, each breath. It is understanding that spirituality and self-love walk hand in hand, offering healing, peace, and the expansion of the heart. Loving yourself is, above all, an act of faith. It is recognizing that we are valuable, worthy of care, and that our life is a precious gift. When we allow ourselves to cultivate self-love, we are also honoring the love of God within us. Every wound, every pain, every challenge faced has a purpose: to teach us to look within, to embrace our shadows, and to celebrate our light. Faith and self-love are not separate paths. They are hand in hand, guiding us with gentleness and strength. Allow yourself to feel, accept, and transform. Every moment of introspection, every act of kindness toward yourself is a step toward emotional and spiritual freedom. God teaches us that we are whole, that we deserve care, and that true peace arises when we recognize ourselves as beings of value, worthy of love and compassion. Take this message with you. Healing is possible. Self-love is a divine gift, and faith is the path that leads us to fulfillment. By loving yourself, you honor life, honor creation, and honor the presence of God dwelling within you. If this message has touched your heart, know that it is no coincidence. God is calling you to begin again, to look inward with tenderness, to embrace your wounds and transform them into lessons. Keep walking with faith, practicing self-love, and breathing in the divine presence in every gesture. In the next video, we will explore together how to transform every challenge into wisdom, every pain into light, and every moment of difficulty into an opportunity for spiritual growth. Subscribe to the channel and allow this journey of healing, faith, and love to continue illuminating your heart each day.